there was an idea to bring together a series of remarkable films. And today we're talking about those films. So without further ado, let's talk about the Avengers.
So here we are, the end of phase 1. We finally got here after many months and watchings of films.
I'm tired.
Tired of the MCU?
You can rest now. No, I could never be tired of the MCU.
No. They can beat that horse as long as they like.
What a film to end our little run on, our little season.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be the end of season 1 for us.
Yeah.
We're not taking a break.
Oh, no.
We're going to have to keep going with these.
If we're going to stick to our schedule.
Yeah, because if you didn't know, we're going to be releasing one of these bi-weekly, and that will lead us with the film all the way up until Avengers Doomsday.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Which has wrapped filming as of this one. As of us filming this, they have wrapped filming on that.
Yeah.
And as I saw on Twitter earlier, Spider-Man Brand New Day, you know that tank they've been driving around?
Yeah.
They've blown it up!
Finally,
it's gone!
I think that might be the main villain of the film.
The tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It's just the tank. It's just a sentient tank running around causing Spider-Man trouble. Anyway.
Back to the Avengers.
Because that's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah. There was an idea.
There was.
For a podcast to get together two random guys.
A two-treat podcast. Yeah, I'll just reiterate what you said. What a great film to kind of end this run on. It was my first. I think we touched on this before with our Iron Man episode, but this was my first MCU film.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why I've got so much nostalgia and such a soft spot. I mean, it's not a hard film to enjoy, but it's just got such a wonderful little place in my heart, and I love it so much. And rewatching it, because I think the last time I watched this film was probably when Endgame was coming out, and I did my last proper MCU rewatch. That would be the last time I'd seen it. But yeah, I just love this film.
Yeah, it is a good one. Although it's interesting to say it's a very hard film to not enjoy. The critics for this film, a lot of them, if you filter out all the 5-star stuff and go right down to the 1 stars, they hate this film for being what it is. People are like, "Oh, it's too." All these comic book films, it's too much like a comic book, and you go, "Well, that's the intention."
That's
the idea. I love him saying, like, there was one of my favourite comments was, the only sort of people that could ever enjoy this film are people that have a man cave full of toys and collectibles.
Who'd do that?
I was like, yep, this is my sort of film. If a critic is turning around and describing your exact bedroom, or your little room in your house, and you're like, yep, that film's for me.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump straight to you, because your thing you like to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of pointless in this one, isn't it?
It is a bit, because we've kind of met everyone.
We've met everybody by this point.
And also, I think we stated this a couple episodes ago, maybe last episode. As the films go on, the casts just keep getting bigger. And so I don't feel like we can keep up this cast segment for much longer, because by the time we get to Endgame, it will just be the majority of the video that we'll be doing that segment for. And of course, we've got a lot of returning cast members. I think really the only new character or new kind of main or side character in this is Maria Hill.
Yes, yeah. Who was? There was a long casting journey for that. From what I read, yeah. And it was her. I can never remember her, Alison from How I Met Your Mother, and from American Pie, Alison Brannigan.
I don't know.
Yeah. So her co-star from How I Met Your Mother is the one who convinced her to take this job.
Oh yeah, Thanos appears at the end of this.
Thanos.
Yeah, a little first teaser of him, played by Damien Poitier. Poitier. Sorry, Damien, for mispronouncing your name.
It doesn't matter. He's only in this one.
Is this the last time? Is this the first and last?
Oh no. Is it him in Guardians?
I don't know.
And they're post the fine. I'll do it myself.
I know. I think it's him in Age of Ultron.
That's the one.
I want to say it's Josh.
It's Josh Brolin in Guardians. Yeah, so it might be. So he did it twice.
We could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that is how it is. But yeah, we get a little teaser of him finally, kind of teasing the big overarching. Yeah,
do you want to do a quick run through of everybody we've got, just like name by name, just real quick?
So of course we've got Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, Iron Man, Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, Captain America. One that we will be talking a lot about is Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, Hulk. Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, Jeremy Renner, who I do want to talk a little bit about as well, because we've not really had much of him, as Clint Barton, Hawkeye, Tom Hiddleston returning as Loki, Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson, Kobe Smulders as Maria Hill, as we've already mentioned, and then just the little other side characters. Stellan Skarsgård as back as Eric Selvig, Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, Gwyneth Paltrow, Pepper Potts, Paul Bettany as Jarvis, and Damon Poitier as Thanos.
Awesome. It's a solid cast.
It's a great cast.
The inclusion of Mark Ruffalo, which we'll get into in a minute, is fantastic.
It's brilliant.
He sells everything to me. He absolutely nails the tone that I think. Obviously, when it comes to comic books and anything that's got source material, there are many different directions you can take character.
Mm-hmm.
And it also depends on what sort of direction the rest of the franchise is going. But I think that for me, they absolutely nail it, and it's just phenomenal. The other thing that I tend to do, I tend to go over the box office stats from the opening weekend, from the overall box office and its budget, and then I adjust for inflation. Obviously, take it with a pinch of salt. It's hard to adjust for inflation. The closer we get, when we get to the 2025 films, we won't have to adjust for inflation.
because it's recent.
But opening weekend, 207 million. Inflation is about 286 million. Overall box office, 1.5 billion.
Wow.
This is the third film of all time to reach a billion.
The third... wow, okay.
As in, there were only two films before this to reach a billion. Do you know what they were?
It's Titanic and Avatar?
Titanic and Avatar, yeah. Thank you, James Cameron.
Pesky James Cameron.
I know, but realistically, only because he re-released them in cinemas.
Yeah. And
it's a cumulative sales of cinema tickets.
Yeah.
But yeah, budget, that was inflation, sorry. 2 point-ish billion, 2.07 billion-ish for nowadays money.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn good. It is only the fifth film of all time to ever reach a billion, which is insane.
That is. And I do...
And three of them are James Cameron.
They were James Cameron. I do think, and the others are Marvel, I do think there's this weird thing recent years where if a film doesn't... I think we maybe talked about this before.
We talked about this when we did our Superman video.
Yes, is it...
Because a lot of people were... you carry on with it.
No, just that if a film doesn't hit $1 billion in theatres, then it's just considered an automatic failure, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Absurd. It's absolutely absurd.
It's ridiculous. I think Marvel, whether to their own detriment or not, have set this bar that sort of casual and fans and moviegoers have kind of set for every film. If it doesn't hit that threshold of money, then it's just considered essentially a waste of time to them, and it's a bad film.
I realise you can see my laptop from here, but don't look at it. No, yeah, he immediately looks at it. He immediately looks.
If it's any consolation, my eyesight is not great.
That's all right then, because I've got my stats and figures.
I can see a blur of text. So let's go on, hit me. Not physically, but with the stats.
I'll turn my laptop off. So the IMDb score for the film is out of 10. What do you think it is?
So you said that critics have been harsh on this. So I'm going to say they've given it... I'm just going to go with around 7.
8.
8, okay.
Yeah, so they weren't harsh on the rating overall, but when they're doing the reviews of the comments, if you want to have a fun read, just go through and filter down from 1 star up. It's hilarious, because some people are like, this is the worst film I've ever seen. I'm like, you didn't watch it then, did you?
Yeah.
And then Rotten Tomatoes, this is the audience score.
Yeah.
Which can be adjusted over time. The IMDb one is as of when the film came out.
Okay, yeah.
The Rotten Tomatoes one adjusts over time because people rewatch the film and people go back and edit things. So we become quite cynical as an audience. So what do you think it is out of 100%?
We can be cynical, but I do think a lot of people have a soft spot for this film. So I'm going to say they've given it a 91%.
Are you sure you've not read my laptop?
I promise. Is it bang on 91%?
That is the second time you've got it bang on.
It is. And
so I'm starting to think that you're not as blind as you say you are.
I promise I am.
Are you a lawyer by day, laptop reader by night?
No, he's still owned by Fox at this point.
So that makes the end of this whole run. Yeah. Phase 1 is complete. The total budget for Phase 1 was 1.15 billion, and it grossed $3.7 billion.
Do you think the cynical audiences would consider that a flop?
Absolutely, yeah. Terrible.
How dare it not make $10 billion?
So this is the interesting thing that I want to. This is going to probably be a longer episode than usual because it's 2.5 hour long film.
Yes.
Longer than all the other films, not put together, but longer than in general, longer than the other films.
Yeah.
which causes a slight problem for us because we like to talk about the characters.
Yeah.
They delve into a lot of characters in this. Do you know who has the most screen time in this?
I would have assumed.
You're gonna say RDJ, aren't you?
I would assume so, but your question of that leads me to believe I'm wrong. So go on.
It's Captain America. He has the most screen time, only by a few minutes.
Okay.
And do you want to pick? You pick an Avenger.
Okay.
And just talk. We'll talk about them first.
Okay.
Because I've got quite a lot of things to say about Cap.
Okay. We'll
from a place of love.
Well, should we start with Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah. We'll start with him
because I think he's he's the biggest addition to this film. You were telling me a nice little story of how he got the role the other day.
Well, I passed over to you because I realised I've been talking a lot.
That's fine.
So I'll let you do your bit first, and then when you've run out of things to say,
which probably very
I will jump in with the little story.
So this, I suppose, he's my first
man crush.
Not man crush, no.
Well, that's rude.
He's my first experience of I guess live action Hulk. I wouldn't say Hulk overall because I definitely would have experienced him in some form of animated.
Did you not watch Big Green Painted Man from the 70s?
I didn't watch that. No, I think because we always discuss notes before we jump into these. So I was saying that obviously this is my first experience of the MCU was the Avengers. But I had a sort of prior knowledge of Marvel because I was a big Spider-Man kid. I'd seen the animated series, I'd seen the Tobey Maguire films, and then when I discovered the Avengers, that's when it sort of led me into the wider kind of Marvel universe. But so he definitely wouldn't have been my first experience of Hulk, but definitely my first memorable experience of Hulk. And I think again that's why I have such a soft spot for him. But I think rightly so as well. He's so well cast. And I'm not saying Ed Norton by any means was a bad choice for Bruce Banner.
At the end of the day, you've got to match the tone of the film, and it's going to be your
exactly.
A lot of it is going to be what your director leads you with.
Yeah.
And if that's the direction they want to take with the Ed Norton ones, absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't work for me.
No,
this is
exactly
the pinnacle performance of Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
Because in a sense, there's only so much you could do as the Hulk, right? Mm-hmm. That's the CG department's team at the end of the day. This is the first actor to play both the Hulk and Bruce Banner in live action because he did the motion capture as well. That's never been done before. It's always been a different actor. Wow. But do you want to talk about why you love that? So, like the elements of Bruce Banner and him from an acting perspective that you enjoy.
I think he's just a terrific actor. Anyway, I've obviously coming off of this, I've seen him in a lot of different films. And I think he's terrific, but his version of Bruce Banner is, I think you put it perfectly, is that he is like a loaded gun.
You're stealing my bits that I'm going to say.
This is all original stuff from me. No, it's
copyright Hayden.
He does. He's got such an interesting take in that he sells, to me more so than Ed Norton did, sells the scientist, but he's also got a darkness to him, and that you kind of. There's that great scene at the beginning of the film where he's talking. Natasha's trying to bring him in. And he goes to test to see what she'll do if something happened, and he slams on the table and sort of
stop lying to me.
Almost hawks out.
Yeah,
and he kind of does that as in like an actual reaction. It was just to see what she's doing. But it kind of clicks something in you, like you think, okay, if that's what he can sort of switch like that. I'm a bit kind of wary of him, and he's got that kind of element to his portrayal of the character with that, is that he's a bit, you kind of don't know when he's going to Hulk out, in a sense.
So, again, stealing my words. So the way I described it is the Ed Norton version is kind of like bubbly, slightly cute, science nerdy guy.
Yeah.
A bit like the way that I'd see Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, kind of like leaning into the sort of, I'm just a nerd, I like science stuff, and I'm very like, I'm into my things, and they had an element of action star to that film. This leans straight into that. I'm a science geek, but as I said to you that you've just stolen, he's a loaded gun with no safety. He can go off at any moment. And he knows it, so he's always tiptoeing. He's always, avoiding Lego on the floor because he could step on it and cause him to Hulk out. Yeah. He could trip over and scratch his knee, and it could cause him to... Literally, anything could happen at any point, and he could be a world-ending doomsday event. Yeah. That's the level of Hulk we're at. He could, he says, the last time I was in New York, I kind of broke Harlem.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. And I think people forget is that element of Hulk that we see in the Hulk film is this version.
Yeah.
There's just been a distance and a journey in between there.
Yeah.
And speaking of distance and journeys, there's a long journey between Mark Ruffalo's house and San Diego, which is the story I'm going to go into.
That was a good segue.
So, I'm great at segues. So is Jeff Bridges in Iron Man 2. Iron Man 1? No, he's already dead by then.
Yeah, he's gone. He's long.
So, the story, the way it goes and the way I've seen it told is, and I'll tell it to you for the second time, and I'll tell it to the audience for the possibly 10th time that they might have seen it on TikTok. So, the story goes that Mark Ruffalo gets a phone call from his agent going, "Hey, Mark, your audition went really well, but they haven't let us know if you got it yet. If there's a car outside your house, if you got a part, get in, and they're gonna take you to go and see Marvel. They're gonna go see the Marvel Disney merger that was going on at the time, because this is the first one done by Disney and distributed by Disney, and the last one filmed on film, as you mentioned as well. Add that little nugget in there. The last one to have some elements filmed on 35 film. Yeah. Some of it was still digital.
This is the kind of transition over to digital.
Which you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
You could tell. I think if you sat there with a fine tooth comb, you could go, "That was digital. That was film."
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the Mark Ruffalo story. So wakes up, looks outside. There's no car. Like, damn, I'm unemployed. What could I do? As he's turning around to go back to bed, you see some headlights come onto his drive. So he goes outside, gets in the car. Right, where am I going? I've got my bag packed. I've got passport. Been told I've got to fly somewhere. And they're like, yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to the airport. Go to the airport. Get on a plane. Goes to San Diego. And he's like, wow, I'm going to meet Marvel in San Diego. I'm going to go speak to them at Comic-Con. That's going to be great. 5 minutes later, after he arrives to the Comic-Con thing, he's in Hall H and he's walking on stage. That's literally how quick it was.
Yeah.
He just arrived, turned up, and they're like, here he is. None of the cast knew who had been cast.
Wow.
Nobody was told. He just walks on stage. He's like, hi, guys. Which is the most Bruce Banner thing I think could possibly happen.
Yeah.
Be like, so we're going to introduce the Avengers, and this guy walks out. He's like, hi.
Yeah.
I'm Bruce. Which I just think is a great story. The fact he got the role and we just shipped into Hall H to go and announce the Avengers film.
It's such a Marvel thing to do.
Yeah.
But no, I'm so glad he got the role, because he is Hulk to me, or Bruce Banner as well. I suppose first. And I was going to say something about him and I forgot him. So should we move on to another character?
No, I was going to say, talking in a linear fashion for the film.
Yeah.
The opening of this film is perfectly toned, because originally they had conversations with Joss Whedon and RDJ, and he was like, Iron Man's the guy. He's kicked off this. The film should open with me,
mate. Yeah.
And they shot it.
Okay. Yeah.
They shot an opening with Iron Man, and it just didn't work. So and RDJ agrees, like, yeah, it doesn't work. Well, whatever, we'll cut it. So the opening of the film, obviously, is the S.H.I.E.L.D. base, underground, with the Tesseract, and Loki arrives, and all that thing happens. It is, and I said to you, it is the perfect introduction, because it's the only part of, as this film progresses, it's the story they wanted to tell. The only bit that would have been missing is the bit they put at the start of the film before the Avengers logo comes up. The whole S.H.I.E.L.D. military aspect. The introduction of S.H.I.E.L.D. as an intelligence agency. Obviously, we've had nuggets of it, but we needed a proper introduction into Samuel L. Jackson as a military character, rather than just like a guiding figure for Tony Stark in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
It introduces you to Hawkeye fully. He gets actual lines in this.
Yeah.
It introduces you back again to Phil Coulson, and then introduces you to the new character, Maria Hill.
Yeah.
So it introduces that world and sets up that side of the Avengers, because the Avengers are a superhero team, but at the end of the day, they are S.H.I.E.L.D. operatives in this one. They're brought in for a mission, and in order to start that, we need to know who S.H.I.E.L.D. are.
Yeah.
We know that they've been involved in the MCU stuff, but we don't know who they are as a group of people. So that was the only bit that was missing, because we didn't have a S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series or anything at this point. We didn't have a proper S.H.I.E.L.D. film, so we needed that information as to what S.H.I.E.L.D. is and what they're doing for the Avengers film.
Yeah.
So opening with that is perfect. And then I think in the linear fashion, you get obviously the S.H.I.E.L.D. opening, then you get Black Widow, Hulk, Cap, Iron Man. No Thor, because he just turns up when he turns up. So you get those introductions, and I think it's done in the order of the recap that you need.
Yeah.
You need to. Black Widow was probably one of the later introductions, and she didn't get a central role. She's not had her own film, and then they introduce the new character because they needed a character that we've already met.
Yeah.
To introduce this new character of Bruce, new version of the character of Bruce Banner Hulk, and then we go to the previous film.
Yeah.
And then we go to the last person being Iron Man because he's already had 2 films.
Mm-hmm.
So
we don't
need to have a proper recap.
It's very well structured.
It is, and I give mainly the credit to Josh Whedon for that.
Yeah.
Josh Whedon? Joss Whedon.
Which
I'm terrible with names.
I think maybe has come under a lot of controversy in more recent times, but I do think he had a very strong hand in the success of this film. And there's a criticism I think that goes around a lot about this film, that it's shot like a TV soap. That's a big one that I see a lot. I don't necessarily agree with that. I see that it's maybe shot differently to a lot of MCU films, but for me it works. I think the brighter, more open kind of shots of this, and they're like, the more vibrant colours and kind of how everyone it feels the most comic book film of Phase 1. You've got all the SHIELD operatives in all their like matching uniforms. Obviously we've spoken about, and a lot of people have opinions on Captain America's suit in this, but everything feels...
I hate it so much.
I love it so much.
It's awful.
But everyone feels like so comic booky, and I think the way it's shot very much like aids that feeling of how bright and colourful everything is, and it's just... Yeah, again,
I do like the SHIELD uniforms. It's Maria Hill's one. It's the blue. It's the subtle blue in it. Obviously, you get Black Widows in black, which is nice. But it's the only thing I wish they had is white belts.
That would be fun.
I just have a problem with the cap suit.
Go on,
and we'll talk about.
Do you wanna...
I'll let you talk about why you love it first.
I do think I'm blinded by nostalgia a bit with it. As I've said,
blinded by bad taste.
No, it's just, to me, I think it's definitely. I don't think it would work necessarily, but then again, it's in Endgame, and I think it looks as good there. It's definitely more successful towards the end of the film, the Battle for New York, or of New York. Is it for or of?
Battle of New York.
Why did I say for New York?
They're both. They're battling for New York and in the Battle of New York.
But when it sort of like dirties up a bit, and it's got a bit more weathered and a bit more damage to it, it definitely works better. I do agree that the cowl is trash. It does not work.
It's better when it comes off.
But there's just something about the overall suit, the red boots, the red gloves, how bright the blue is.
Yeah.
It's definitely nostalgia I'm being blinded by, but it is my favourite.
But I don't think it's that bright. I think if it was blue, like it is blue, but the red is a bit too wine. It's a bit closer to wine red than red. I think if it had been bright red, it would have been a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
And all that was missing, the thing that I have the main criticism for, is the chin. There's no chin strap, so it kind of just sort of hugs under. It just sort of sits here and then goes up. I keep smacking my microphone. Get done for microphone abuse. There's a perfect blend would have been between the sort of more military helmet look that he has in this one, but instead of having it as a chin strap that comes there, have it as a hole under the neck thing.
Yeah,
almost like a Batman cowl.
Yes, yeah.
That would have been great.
That would have been nice.
It's not the colour. It's not anything like that. It's the helmet and the fact the red's not red enough.
That's fair.
That's my issue with it. Everything else, great.
I also don't like this weird silver things he's got on his...
Yeah, he's got like weird stripes on the shoulders, hasn't he?
I don't know why they're there.
I have no idea, because it's not like a captain rank or anything.
No, they're just... I don't know.
It's really strange.
Maybe they did it and thought something's missing off the shoulders.
My second criticism of Captain America, which I haven't told you this yet.
No, okay, go on.
So you're gonna enjoy this. It's a delicate subject to talk about, because it's involving the PTSD that he has.
Okay.
And it's not that it's invalid as somebody having PTSD.
I'm glad we're getting that out of the way.
But it's not. It's the same issue I have with the Cap film.
Okay.
That we didn't see enough World War II. Mm-hmm. Because we don't see enough World War II, having this image of Cap being a soldier who's never really left the war, a soldier who's having all these struggles with the... We didn't see him in the war that much. I know we did see him in the war, but as in like...
But it was like a montage.
It was like a montage, and then we have his final mission. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. If we'd have had that second film, which I know I'm saying this as a Captain America fan, but if we'd have had that second film, I'm not saying we don't care about Cap's struggles in this, we're not as emotionally invested as we are in comparison to Iron Man 3 that deals with Tony Stark's PTSD.
Yeah.
Obviously very lightly, it doesn't really deal with it much, but we care more there than Cap here because of the fact that we've had enough time for that emotion and that emotional attachment to the character to grow. So the only issue I have with it is having the whole, I can't get away from the war, I've got this problem where, my bed's too soft and all that sort of thing, and I've slept for 70 years.
Yeah.
I don't see any of the trauma, and they abandoned it straight away.
There's a bit of it in The Winter Soldier, is it, where Sam's talking about the bed being too soft, but it's not properly brought up again like it is at the start of this film. Yeah.
It was an interesting way to introduce him to the film, but just to abandon that concept immediately doesn't do the character any justice.
It would have been interesting for him to be set up as a leader in this,
but he's kind of not.
Yeah, he's just sort of. He's there to make a few old kind of. Did you know I was from the 1940s? And that's it.
Because I read The Hobbit when it came out. Obviously, that's not Cap. That is Bucky. But the sentiment's there. So that's my main issue with him: the lack of depth we get with him. He's kind of like, I'm an old timey war hero.
Yeah.
Son, all those references. There's only one God Man, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
Yeah.
All that sort of thing. He's just there to remind us that Cap's from the 40s in this.
A lot.
I'll let you do another one, because you said you wanted to talk about Hawkeye.
I do, because I have a massive problem with Hawkeye in this film.
Is it that he's an enemy?
I think a lot of this early Marvel stuff we've kind of spoken about with Iron Man is that he would never have been put in a lunchbox without the success of that film. So there's a lot of sort of B, C tier characters. Hawkeye is definitely a lower tier character. Barely anyone would have, I think, known who he was from the comic books. So to have him barely touched on in Thor, to then being a major founder of the original Avengers team in this film, for the majority of his screen time and presence in the film to be against, you don't get a good sense of his character, who he is, what he fights for, why he fights. A lot of that just comes from Natasha when she's talking about how the kind of debt that she owes him, and but you don't understand when Natasha's trying to constantly worrying about him. It's like, he's been compromised and they've taken him. We need to find him and make sure he's okay. We don't understand why that is until she sort of tells us about that past they have. But even then, we don't get a good sense of his character because he's a villain for the majority of his present, and that really, I think probably the first couple of watches it didn't bug me as much, but definitely later as I got to understand his character more, it bugs me, and they definitely overcompensated for that in Age of Ultron, where they give him the majority of the film with his kind of home life, which I don't mind at all, but I just don't. It bugs me in this that he's just out of the main team for like 80% of his time.
Literally, that he arrives at the final battle, and that's it.
And
all it took was a smack in the face
to fix him. I think it's interesting having kind of an ally turn to the kind of the side of the villain, but do that after we've established who that character is.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned that Iron Man in the original script was going to have a moment where he's turned by the
Yes,
the
I have
scepter.
no idea where it would have been. I presume it's when Loki goes
tower,
and he can't do it, and then he ends up just yeeting him out the window.
Yeah.
But
that would have worked better than Hawkeye turned, because we don't know who he is. He had no time in Thor, so it's just him to be turned like 2 minutes into his appearance.
It's that element of creating an emotional attachment for the audience to then care about the consequences of those final actions. Like you always want to have an emotional connection to a character before you kill them off.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not killing him off in this, but we're changing him into a villain.
And that's why Coulson's death for me works, is because
They might have got to the end of the film yet.
They're watching it along.
They're watching it along
like a director's commentary. Tony Stark dies in Endgame. So that's why Coulson's death works for me in this, is because we've had his presence. Don't get me wrong, he's not had a massive role so far, but he's had that enough reappearances and enough, I feel like, little moments where we're kind of like, oh yeah, he's a fun character.
Yeah.
And then enough set up in this where he's like, he's a cat fan, he wants him to sign his vintage trading cards. He watches him while he's sleeping.
The other thing with that as well, they call him Phil.
Yeah. So
That's the thing that gets you.
we get that.
The fact that the very opening bit of not the very opening, but the
No.
first time we properly see him again when he comes to speak to Iron Man, Pepper, she turns and goes, Phil! And he said, well, no, why is he Phil? His first name is Agent.
Yeah.
And he gives that comment, but they're on a first name basis with these characters that we're attached to. And it just, when he dies, it hits you hard, which is an interesting thing raised. When we obviously we watch these separately, because we used to start planning and watching them in the
But I think
room.
it works better separately because we've got more to to discuss now. But yeah.
So did you? I'm presuming you watched on Disney Plus.
I did,
and not on the DVDs or anything. Disney Plus.
No.
Okay, so in the Disney Plus version that I watched, and we're watching from the UK, so it's whichever app or website in the UK is available. I'd say other streaming services are available, but not for Marvel stuff.
They're not. No,
they're really
not.
Other than the Spider-Man films. So yeah, getting back to the point, when Loki uses his scepter and pierces his heart, because that's what happened. You find out in Agent Shield how he exactly dies. It rips his heart in two, basically. Yeah. So how he's not immediately dead, how he's got time to even talk, I have no idea. But yeah, so that scene, it doesn't, in the original cut, it doesn't come out of his chest.
Okay.
Because, I don't know what you're saying, okay, I've told you this. We just had this conversation about half an hour ago.
We've mentioned this before, it's for the effect of cinema.
Cinema. So yeah, in the original cut, it doesn't come to his chest because they were told, no, you can't do that if you want to keep your 12 rating. It's too brutal, and the blood coming out of his mouth as he's dying, they're like, it's too far, so don't do it. I don't know what would have changed. I don't know why it's changed. Maybe for streaming they've had to do it, but in the original cinematic cut, and I did check, and I have watched the scene since, you don't see it go through him. You see that noise. Yeah. He pulls his scepter out and he wipes the blood off it and all that. You do not see it go actually because
it is quite.
It's brutal.
It's a shocking moment, and but that's why it works so well.
But he gets his final dig in, doesn't he, with the destroyer gun?
He does. I love it.
So that's what it does. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is great. Go on. I spoke about Clint. Who do you want to speak about? Was that really all?
Thanos? No. For the 3 seconds he's in it. Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury.
He does get more time to shine in this than he has done.
He does.
Yeah.
He signed up for a 6-picture deal, didn't he, or 9-picture or something?
9, Yeah, 9, I think.
I remember there was a comment that I saw of this. He was like, "I've signed up for a 9-picture deal. You know, I'll take it. I'll be a lifetime of work." And he's like, "Oh my god, we've done 9 films. We've done like 9 films in 7 years or something ridiculous like that, or 5 years." So I don't think he realised how much they were going to release all in one go.
Yeah.
But Samuel L. Jackson's great in everything he does, but at the end of the day, it is still just Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But it works.
But I don't think you'd hire Samuel Jackson to be anything but Samuel Jackson, because he's
know what you get. It's like
just so great.
Adam Sandler or Nicolas Cage or your mom. I don't know.
That was a bit uncalled for.
People, I just couldn't think of anybody else. So you wouldn't hire these actors to play a role, that's very in depth and they need to get behind it and really learn the source material.
Yeah.
Realistically, he doesn't need to learn the source material because in the 2002 run of the Ultimates, there's actually there's a scene where they're sat around waiting for a mission to happen or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're all just sat around eating lunch and they're like, "Who'd play you in a movie?" And Nick Fury just goes, "That's easy. The one and only Samuel L. Jackson." And he's just like, it's literally what he says.
Brilliant.
What are your thoughts on how well or how bad, either side, it's up to you, that this film does with the interconnectability? Because it's never been done.
Not really.
It's never been done. No. The closest you have is DC turning around and saying, yes, Batman 1989 and Superman are connected in the same universe. And you go, no, they're not.
They're not.
No, they're not.
They're really not.
You're just saying that.
Yeah.
And they said that like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Something that has realistically never been done.
Not to this scale.
No, never to this scale. I mean,
depth.
Especially to what we're talking about now. Like,
no, absolutely. Yeah.
Endgame was 2019. We're still, leading up to Doomsday, which is going to have one of the biggest casts of all time.
Yeah. Crossing
over the original X-Men into this. It's going to be phenomenal. But it was never done.
No. Yeah, because I have a similar question in my notes. Is that did the setup of 5 films in this pay off? And I think it does. I think the interconnectivity of this, I think there's just enough that if you've watched those previous films, if you've been watching them leading up to this, whether it's at the time or now, there's enough that you've got enough callbacks and enough history to recognise when those things have been mentioned. But if you haven't seen those, I feel like you still get a decent enough idea of an idea of who kind of everyone is. But it does for me rely a lot on the setup but to its own success. I think
one of the closest comparable options to this is obviously DC with the Justice League.
Yeah.
Which currently is propping the door open.
The only thing that film is good for.
So yeah, the Justice League, because it's the only thing superhero wise you can compare it to. That I think is an example of why the Avengers work so well, because for the tonal change in between, for example, you've got Captain America into Iron Man to Thor, which is basically Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Like, you have to blend these characters together.
Yeah.
Which has never, again, as we've said, never been done on screen. You know, we've had animations, we've had animations and cartoons. Yeah. We've had the comic books obviously do it. But that was, a long time ago. The Avengers #1 came out in 1963.
It's a long time ago.
So that is 47 years?
No, it'd be longer than
49 years?
No, it'd be over 60 years.
From 1963 to 2012.
Oh, so you're talking... Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, obviously now it's a bit different.
Yeah.
Because the Avengers film came out 13 years ago.
That makes me...
Do you need your Zimmer frame?
Not happy. All right. You just constantly bullying me on this
I'm not
show.
I literally said last episode and he stopped bullying you.
And then 2 minutes later, you immediately bullied me.
And said about your mum.
This is taking a turn. What were we talking about?
I don't even remember. Talk about how well the Avengers did against things like the Justice League. So it's not necessarily that I don't enjoy the Justice League film. I don't think it's a solid film. But it jumped straight into, we're doing the Justice League.
Yeah.
Rather than laying the groundwork, you needed to have an emotional connection, which at the end of the day, because human beings are emotional creatures. Trust me, I am one. I'm an emotional creature and a human being.
That's what someone who's not a human being would say.
I'm a Skrull. Yeah, so
back to the Avengers.
Back to the film we're supposed to be talking about.
And we're talking about the Justice League.
And the Skrulls. But yeah, it does it much better. Talk about the Justice League. It does it much better than the Justice League. Cause it's the only thing you can compare it to about a superhero film that ties a universe together. You have to lay the groundwork, and I think the groundwork pays off. Apart from, again, my issue with Captain America, it should have been the ideal run of this. I think should have been 7 films.
Yeah,
it should have been Iron Man, Hulk, ideally with Mark Ruffalo to properly tie it all together. This is if we was going back and do a retcon rewrite.
Yeah.
So Iron Man, Hulk, I'm doing it in similar order. Thor, Captain America, a Shield TV series or spin-offs, something to bring in them. Then Iron Man 2, Captain America 2, and then bring it into the Avengers. That would have been the perfect run, because as I said, you needed that extra exploration of Cap.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to do in World War II.
Yeah.
There's so many things that he needed to happen. Yeah. You'd have got a better explanation of Bucky before you end up leading to Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
You could have had the dark aspects of him, because you see him take a few sniper shots and he falls off the train. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You needed him to maybe go a bit too far in either interrogating somebody or. Again, we're getting on time to talk about Bucky, which we talk about more in the Winter Soldier. Because if you haven't watched that, he's not actually dead.
More spoilers.
He's harmless.
Okay.
But yeah, so my thoughts on it are, for what they already laid the groundwork of, perfect. Absolutely perfect. But it was just missing. You could have had Black Widow and Hawkeye within the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That could have been fun.
Film or something involving that. I'd like to have seen maybe Budapest or something like that within that. But there's just elements missing. Which I think, as you said, you don't have that exploration of Hawkeye as a character before he turns.
Yeah.
Which I think would have been better if we had an extra TV series or a film.
Yeah, I agree.
Leading we wouldn't have had to have that opening scene with the Shield group before they even did the opening logo. That's literally my one gripe. That's the stuff that comes out before this film.
That's a fair gripe. So you sort of talking about how you would have retconned to start this. I really would have liked to have seen a version of this where Edgar Wright's Ant-Man came out when it was supposed to.
Okay,
because obviously in the comics that's the founding team is Hank Pym and Janet.
Edgar Wright's in the original Avengers.
Yes, probably 30 years before he was born. When was Edgar Wright born? Who would know that? Anyway,
1985.
But yeah, so I think it would have been interesting to see a version of this.
It's good for somebody who's like 50 odd.
Where Ant-Man and the Wasp were a part of that core team, because Hank Pym is a lot of the time a leader. He's the leader of the original comic book, isn't he? The original run. It would have been fun to see that.
An interesting note on the original run, talking about Janet. She's. They don't do her well in the original comics.
It was the 1960s. I wouldn't have expected them to.
They very much portray her as, I'm a ditzy woman and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's messed up.
Yeah.
Like, they'll all be talking. She goes, "Oh, isn't that Thor pretty?" And you're like, that's all the input you've given this character. You've just let her just stand in the background and talk about the guy with blonde hair.
We're going very off tangent. This is the absolute.
Welcome to the extra hour.
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
But you talked about adaptation of comic books earlier, with cartoon and stuff. My all-time favourite, probably more so than the MCU, if not a very, very close second to the MCU, my all-time favourite adaptation of any Marvel property is the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon.
I've not watched that, and now you've said that, I might need to.
Fantastic. Janet in that is exactly what I would have wanted her to be.
Is that the one where Thor fights Thanos? And Thanos uses a time stone to age everybody, but because Asgardians get stronger with age, he basically melts Thanos. Is that in that cartoon?
I don't know, that might be Avengers Assemble.
Oh, I think it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I've seen that. No, only that.
Earth's Mighty Heroes came out before this. I think it was 2010.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of MCU-ification with like Iron Man. He very much feels like an RDJ thing, but. So Janet in that as the Wasp is a great characterization. She's like the heart of the team in that cartoon. And now I've said that, I'm going to be rewatching that over the weekend, I think, because I've not watched it in a long time.
You enjoy that.
You need to watch it.
So obviously this film is our core 6 Avengers of Hawkeye, Black Widow, Iron Man, Thor, Cap, and Bruce Banner.
Yeah,
as the Hulk. Who do you think? Now in 2025, with all the MCU films we've got there, do you think would cause the most chaos being on that original Avengers team?
So bringing characters in,
just ridiculous.
That is a really good question. I have a few answers, but I'm trying to think.
Obviously, I think there's an answer that everyone would agree with. Deadpool would just be all over the place.
Yeah,
that's an obvious answer, but I want an interesting answer here.
I feel like some of the Guardians would probably cause a bit of mess.
That's a good answer, because in Endgame, Rocket turns around and he's like, "Well, they're the suckiest army in the whole galaxy. It took you 3 hours to fight them."
Yeah.
So yeah, that would have been a good one. I think I'm going to not take the answer of Captain Marvel, because it'd be like, "Oh, you're fighting these guys?
Yeah.
Dead." Not including any villains. It has to be a hero on the team, because obviously Thanos would be like, "Oh, the Chitauri that I sent, but the Chitauri."
Yeah.
Dead. I'm trying to think of interesting characters that would just mess up that whole team dynamic. Speaking of people in the Battle of New York, though, how many Marvel superheroes are in this battle?
That is a trick question.
It is a trick question. You've caught me.
It's not just the ancient one, is it? There's a few sorcerers.
Yeah.
And then there's all them back from Endgame when they go back in time. I can't give
you think of it?
I can't give you an exact number.
So we're talking the superheroes here.
Yeah.
I count the ancient one.
Yeah.
There are 2 Hulks.
2 Hulks.
There are 2 Captain Americas.
Yeah.
There are 2 Iron Mans.
Yeah.
That's 7.
Ant-Man.
There's Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Then there is Black Widow.
Yeah.
Hawkeye.
That's 10.
There are 10 Marvel superheroes fighting in that fight, which is bizarre. And Stephen Strange is doing surgery about 10 blocks that way.
Yeah, down there.
I love that they still carry out surgery. in the middle of.
You'd have to, I suppose, wouldn't you? If you're in the middle of a triple.
Mate, if aliens are invading the planet, I am dropping my tools and running out
So
the
you're
door.
saying if you're in the middle of a triple heart bypass and there's aliens,
That guy's dying. If I'm in the middle of a triple heart bypass, he's gone.
Brilliant.
Because imagine, like, oh my god, yes, we've saved it. Pfft, building gone.
At least you tried.
Also, who's letting me do a triple heart bypass?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't let me sew some buttons onto a shirt, let alone a triple bypass.
Yeah.
Anyway, irrelevant. One of the little notes I've got on here. This is the last time we ever see Steve. To my knowledge, we will retcon this if we.
If this is what we spoke about earlier, we don't have
Yeah.
to.
Did you check?
Yeah, it is.
It is the last time he uses a gun.
Yeah.
On screen. Because he picks up. Which. Have you got that image clear in your head? He just picks it up and sort of goes at the hip. He shoots like a man who's never shot a gun.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, we see him in the war. He's got the pistol out.
Maybe he's never used anything but a pistol.
Maybe. Except he has. We've seen him with a machine gun in the other films.
Brilliant.
But it's just the way he sort of goes, yeah, I'm shooting these guys, and misses every single shot.
Yeah.
This is a super soldier, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Like, really?
Speaking of that scene, did you catch the Doctor Who reference?
No. Hold on. What is the Doctor Who reference? Is it tell me the lot. I want to try and figure it out. I don't want you to just tell me.
It's during the scene where Stark and Cap are trying to fix the helicarrier.
Reverse the polarity.
Yeah.
But that's an actual thing.
But Joss Whedon
actually
is a big Doctor Who fan.
Okay, then it is. Then it is reverse the polarity of the
in.
neutron flow.
Yeah. He doesn't say carry on with that, but he does say reverse polarity, which I like. Yeah.
That's a nice little line then.
Yes. And the fact that Robert Downey Jr., who probably doesn't know what Doctor Who is.
I think he does. It's a global. You'd know what it is. I don't think there's anybody who watches anything that doesn't know what Doctor Who is.
I suppose. But I just like that Robert Downey Jr. said that.
Yeah.
It makes me happy. Yeah.
I think he'd make a great Doctor.
I think it'd be an interesting take on it. This is getting weird. It's so off topic, this video. Rambling on about all sorts.
Look. It's 2 hours 40 of films.
I think there's over 2 hours 40 in then.
Yeah. Interesting. We're talking about the Battle of New York.
That's 3 times he's punched the microphone.
I'm
going to knock a pound off its value each time you punch it.
This is free now then. So the cop that goes over to the other cop that Cap then talks to.
Yeah.
Is Daniel Sousa from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm saying this.
Not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, he is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually. He's in the final season.
Yeah, but
he's from Agent Carter. Yeah, he's in both seasons of Agent Carter.
Yeah.
He's the love interest. So Cap lands on a taxi and he's like, "You there? You married my wife." So yeah, he's then recasting the MCU into the things that are not canon. Although apparently they're bringing it back.
Agent Carter or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Both. They could canonise it.
I'd like that.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do it.
I don't think it'd be too difficult because I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did try to keep up with. I think
I watched all of it.
It tried its. I think it definitely strayed away after kind of the Hydra reveal. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But it did they mentioned Thanos and stuff. When
yeah.
They tried to keep it in that
Yeah.
timeline. So I think it wouldn't be too hard to recognize.
They mention the stuff that happens in the MCU in that.
Yeah.
But the stuff that happens in that directly should affect the MCU.
Absolutely.
Like they do time travel way before
Yeah.
Iron Man, Tony Stark figures it out in Endgame. And then also the note I've got underneath that is Thor's lightning in this is white.
I mean, you said this earlier as well.
Which is like, that's... What? No, his lightning is blue. It's lightning.
I didn't even catch that when I was rewatching this.
You know,
another cameo which I told you, guest appearance I suppose, that I mentioned to you is Beth the waitress, who you got a little thing about.
That's not a cameo or a guest appearance. It's just an actor who's played another role, which is...
she voices Ellie in The Last of Us, which is one of my favourite video game series.
Surprise, surprise, actors have other jobs.
Ashley Johnson, who also does Critical Role. She's in Critical Role.
Oh, is she?
She is. And she's...
A little bit of dund.
But that's only I think, again, it might have been my recent rewatch of this before Endgame. I kind of... Because I would have played the games by then. And that was the kind of clocked. I was like, hang on, I know who you are. But it's just a nice little appearance by her.
So the final note that I've got on here, because I actually stopped making notes at the final battle, because I just sat there and was like, oh, I love this.
You just enjoy it too much.
And then I know the rest of that film so well. I genuinely got a little bit emotional when you hear that. Da, 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 as they're circling and the camera's going round on the bridge. It's beautiful.
That's the score, the theme tune. There's a great video a few years ago about Marvel music and how we don't really have recognisable themes for a lot of the characters, but that Avengers motif is
I would disagree though.
I disagree. Oh no, I disagree with it.
I could tell you the Captain America motif. I could tell you the Iron Man motif.
Yeah.
I'd be able to pick out the Thor motif.
Ant-Man has a great one. But that Avengers theme.
Alan Silvestri knows how to use brass. Who composed Back to the Future?
Did he?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, he did the Back to the Future theme too. And the Out of Time Orchestra is what they're called.
I like that.
Yeah. He wasn't in Huey Lewis and the News. Huey Lewis and Alan Silvestri. But yeah, so he composed the main, the big brass bit, and so he knows how to use brass well, and he knows how to create motifs and themes.
Because it's that little bit you get at the very start of the film, and I was like, I just had a little bit of a goosebump.
Oh, the strings as well, the dun.
Yeah, just that.
And that military aspect of it was like marching.
It works.
Beautifully done.
Such a good piece of music.
Non-original pieces of music in this. Obviously, you have Shoot to Thrill, which is they used in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
And then also the piece of classical music, which is Franz Schubert's String Quartet Number 13 in A minor.
Which you definitely had written down to remember.
I did. The Rosamunde Quartet, as it's known. That is a really funny scene for me.
Go on.
Because obviously you get the juxtaposition of the brutal ripping of an eyeball out as the man's flailing around on this concrete counter.
It is a bit uncomfortable to watch that.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's a bit gross.
It is a bit.
Just juxtaposed to the classical rendition of some the classical music.
Yeah.
And obviously it's this ball that's happening, and you see an orchestra playing, and that music never stops. So and you don't see the orchestra run away. So in my mind, there's an orchestra standing in the back going. Playing the instruments while this brutal murder's going on. Not murder, he might have survived it.
I would imagine you could survive that, but
probably
I wouldn't want to.
I've seen people with worse.
You've seen?
Speaking of Stuttgart, Germany, having Cap come to Germany to defeat a fascist reindeer games looking man,
brilliant,
as Tony Stark called him, is great. And the man that stands up, there are no men like me. There are always men like you.
It's such a good line.
God damn, that's a good line.
Especially relevant
now.
Yeah.
That's I've just put in capitals. God, that's a good line. But the car that slides and it goes and he hits it with his rhythm stick and it lilches up.
Yeah.
And it slides like that on its front.
Yeah.
That is an accident.
Is it?
Yeah. So cars have not all cars. Obviously, your car doesn't have one of these. Not as mine. Has a pneumatic actuator, I think it's called, underneath it that then comes out and flips the car.
Got you.
And it's supposed to flip it all the way. Obviously, it wasn't powerful enough. It just flips it and it just slides on its nose. That's completely accidental.
But they just kept it in.
They kept it in because it looks amazing.
It does.
And the sparks flying everywhere. It looks great. Brilliant. Which also, talking about being a Captain America fan, Coulson being a Cap fan in this is great. That makes so much sense as to why he's like a little Boy Scout.
Yeah, yeah.
But the thing that annoys me so much is he's like, my pride and joy, my Captain America collectible cars, I want you to sign them. They're near mint condition, little foxing around the edges. Like, he loves these things. And Nick Fury, immediately as soon as he dies, he's like, I'm going to cover those in blood.
Yeah, there's no need to do that.
Why,
there's
man?
No need to do that. That must be such an expensive collector's item in that universe. And he's just soaked them in
He's just gone... There you go.
I don't like how Steve picks them up covered in blood and visibly touches it. Just, is that Coulson's blood or is it fake blood that Fury just has?
Tomato ketchup.
Is it ketchup? What is it?
He had a messy lunch.
Why Steve picked them up when they're covered in blood? That's one way to get
it's a bit strange. Phil Coulson has hepatitis.
He might do. Don't know. Haven't seen his medical history.
Just again, speaking of Phil, Agent Phil. Or Agent Coulson, or Son of Cole. That's such a good line in Thor. He has that romantic thing with the cellist, which is explored quite a lot in Agency. We actually see it.
Mm-hmm.
We see her in that. She's freaked out when she finds out Phil Coulson's alive. And there's a lovely moment between Tony and Phil as they're walking into the thing, just like an aside. And he goes, she's from Portland. That's key to this line.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, really under breath, yeah, just pick a day, pick a weekend, take it off work, and I'll fly out to Portland. Like, offer this guy that they don't really know very well.
Yeah.
That they're not actually friends, they're like work colleagues with. He's offering to be like, I'll pay for your jet and everything. I'll fly you out just so you can spend time with this woman that you clearly have romantic feelings for. And then the poor man just dies. Like
and we've touched on it earlier. Is that's I think they do such a good job with Coulson in this film that you really do feel his death.
You're grinning so much at that joke. You're so proud of yourself.
I'm so
You're so tired. So, that, I think, is a wrap.
We've rambled.
We've rambled a bit.
Just a bit.
We've got over an hour's worth of footage.
Not
all that you're going to see. That's not quite a wrap, because we have one final thing we've got to do.
Go on. Our rating.
Yeah, ratings. Did you forget? Please tell me you've got one.
I did forget. When you went down to get your laptop charger, I was looking at my notes like, I've not given this film a rating.
I've not made a note of it, but I know what I'm giving this.
I kind of know what I'm going to give it. So I'm going to let you go first. And I'm going to be a sheep and sort of go with... Unless you've given it a... Right,
so, in order to understand this, we've got to understand two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, we have to rate it as a film. Mm-hmm. And two, we have to rate it as a film of first of its kind.
Yes.
Because this is doing... Even if this film was mediocre, the fact that it didn't just absolutely fail is a miracle.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
And it's a testament to how good the filmmakers are, how good the production team are over at Marvel Disney, because, again, first Marvel Disney production, and how good these actors are, because they sell it to you. Yeah. That at the end of the day, cinema is about emotional connection. It's about how believable it is, and it's about getting lost in a world that you want to spend time in the day. Because 2 hours 40 is a long time, and I was sat there, and as I said, I got to the end of the film with my notes, and went, I'm just going to sit and watch this last bit because I'm enjoying it. Yeah. At the end of the day, that is what it is, and we reiterated this in our Superman video when you mentioned about, does it make $1 billion? Is it going to be a flop? Does not matter. No. Ignore the reviews. Ignore the critics. Did you enjoy it? Did you have fun? Would you watch it again on a rainy day? Mm-hmm. If it has done all of those things, it is a good film. Yeah. Might be great. Might not be the best film. For example, I recently watched for the first time. This is the sort of film where I can sit down and watch it, and I'm just going to jump straight in my rating. That's why I'm giving this film a 9.5.
Wow.
That's a highly rated film.
That's your highest.
That's my highest one so far.
I am.
And let me just reiterate this.
Of course.
One, because of how good of a film it is, and two, because of how dangerous and risky and how well they nail something that has never, and even since, has never been done.
That's a very valid explanation you've given. I've fallen into trap. I think we mentioned this in our Thor video, or maybe possibly Cap.
If you give it a 2, I'm going to kill you.
It's not a 2. Where as we're starting out with this and how many films there are, but this early on, and I'm giving films ratings of 8s and 9s. As we're getting later on, I know there's better films coming, so I feel like I need to shift my ratings of those other ones down.
No, don't do that.
But so saying that, this for me, I was going to give it a 9, and I've already given that would be my third film that I've given a 9, and I would have placed it above the other two. But I'm going to join you in a 9.5.
You can join me in a 9.5.
I'm going to join you in a 9.5. And I think for our ranking, when our lovely leaderboard graphic comes up,
you did it last time. I'm doing it this time.
Okay, go on.
Yeah,
I think we can confidently say
we can confidently say it is top of the list.
100%.
As I said already, because of how good of it is as a standalone film.
Yeah.
And because of how well it works as, a Marvel Universe top. If they'd ended it with this, that'd be a solid run.
100%.
5 films, with the sixth being a culmination of all that they've been working on.
And
Even
really-
then, even now, you look back and go, that's a really good little
All
franchise and
loose
sequels.
ends tied up. The only really thing would have been the Thanos tease that,
But they just wouldn't have added that in.
but you wouldn't have had that in. Yeah.
So yeah, 9.5. So our leaderboard is going to come up here,
Da-da-da.
and it is going to be the Avengers,
Yeah.
Iron Man,
No.
the Avengers, Thor,
Yeah.
Iron Man.
No.
What? I'm pretty sure it
I
is.
think it is. So it'd be
Avengers,
Yeah.
Thor,
Yeah.
Captain America, Iron Man,
Yeah.
Iron Man 2,
Yeah.
Hulk.
There we go.
Nailed it.
I did the graphics for that. I know what the film.
I edited it, I should know, but to be fair, all I did is click and drag and remove the little green background that you've made. If anybody knows a better way of
I'm gonna get
doing
slated now, but
graphics than
you
the
still
green
use
screen.
green screen.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
discovered quite recently. I do have a degree in graphic design. I will mention. There are such things as transparent videos. They're called.
You told me there wasn't.
I told you what, because as far as
I'm contacting your employer.
They're called alphas, and I know how to do them now. So actually, that might work. We can do this. This is completely irrelevant.
Because do you know that's why the video buffers while I'm watching it, because it's trying to render the green screen and the graphics.
Yeah, brilliant.
So
Anyway,
after finding out that Hayden is incompetent at his job, so that is a wrap
Alright.
for bullying him. That is a wrap for
Phase 1, Season 1, whatever you want to call it.
Season 1, Phase 1.
Yeah.
We're going to call it Phase 1.
I like that.
It's
better.
already named in the playlist as Phase 1. That is a wrap for Phase 1 of our MCU rewatch,
Yeah.
leading all the way up to... That's your cue to talk.
Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday. Is that what you're on about?
Yes.
Yeah, I blanked out for a minute there.
Join us next week
Oh,
for a Phase 1 wrap-up.
ooh,
Because, there's a lot to talk about.
there
And there's
is.
a lot of characters that have been introduced.
Yeah,
And we're just going to do a quick recap with clips from our previous videos.
that'd be fun.
And from little things we're going to talk about. And maybe, reviewing our own videos. So without further ado, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you're from, wherever you are in the world. As I said, join us next week for our Phase 1 wrap-up. Follow us on our Spotify, on our Instagram, and give us a like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube. Hayden?
Who?
Who? Hayden?
Yeah.
Anything to add? Need a name badge.
See you next time.